Hey, Fern. I'm wondering if you could hurry it up and get that divorce, please. I only have a little while left before I need to have things start happening, so let's go! Excuse me? Who am I speaking to right now? It's me, Jewel. I happen to be the cute little girlfriend of your CEO husband. Do you have any clue that what you just said to me is very contradicting? And what about what I said was contradicting to you? Well, you just confessed to saying that you are going out with a married man right now, and you did so to his wife. You understand that's a big no-no to be going out with another woman's husband, don't you? Well, I'm sure in your average case, that's true, but he and I are totally in love with one another, so this is a bit different. Not cheating in any way, right? So please don't compare me to those other nasty people that love to go out with married people. Well, I'm sorry, but you are the exact same as those other nasty people. No matter what you try and think of yourself, you're going out with my husband, which means that you are in an affair with him. Huh? Also, the fact that you started texting me just to tell me right away that you want me to divorce him so that he can be all yours only furthers my thoughts that you might have something seriously wrong with your head. Huh? Well, if you're going to start getting upset over your own actions like that now, then go right ahead. But I'm not going to waste my time talking with you anymore. I have better things to do with myself, and that also means I've got better things to do with my husband as well. Oh, so you are planning on leaving him then? I've been aware of my husband cheating on me for some time now. And I was just getting around to wanting to find out who he might be with. Well, aren't you happy to see that he's not going out with some scary old witch behind your back? How old are you, Jewel? Me? I'm 25 years old. Oh, so you're the same age as me then. What? I happen to be 25 years old myself. There happens to be a 13-year gap between myself and my husband, and that's probably why most people think of me as a lot older than I really am. I'm sure that was the case for you too, right? Huh? You're the same age as me? Can you tell me when your birthday is? In June. I happen to have mine in September. So that means you happen to be the one just a bit older than me, right? You're lying, right? Well, it's not like that should really matter to either one of us, now should it? When it comes to you being the one that my husband's cheated on me with, age is not that important. Well, for the time being, I'm going to work on getting all the evidence of this little affair with my husband in order. And if need be, I'm going to get myself a lawyer. A lawyer? You shouldn't be surprised by any of this. I feel much better having a professional by my side as I go through the steps of divorce, especially when it has to do with my husband cheating on me. Ah, I see. Now, I'll give you a call or text when all of my things are in order on this end. I didn't expect for things to go this far with you, or for you to make such a big deal out of it, but as long as you're still thinking about getting that divorce, then I'm all right with it. I would like you to remember that I might be coming to you for more information later on, so please do not forget anything. Also, if you happen to try and do anything to mess with my evidence gathering or try to lie to me now about all of this, that is not going to end well for you, so please leave me alone. As long as you're going to get that divorce, I'll let you do whatever you need to. Hey, are you still not divorced from him yet? You said that you were going to be searching for more evidence and all, but if it's going to take you this long, then I'll just give it to you. Can you please just hurry it up and get that divorce? Look, in 2 months, your husband is supposed to be holding his 10-year anniversary party for his company, right? When the time comes, I would like to be his new wife and have him show me around to all of his business partners. As for yourself, every day longer you spend with him wanting that divorce means that you will only feel worse and worse about yourself when the time really does come to leave him. I would really not like you going to that party instead of me, all right? If things came to that, then I might have to show up and embarrass you. So please, hurry up and leave him. I think I've figured it all out now. I know what the reason is for you not getting a divorce yet. You really want to stay in that spot as the CEO's wife, don't you? You're afraid that when I steal that life of being with your money-making CEO husband who happens to have everything you could ever ask for, you'll have no luck with another man as rich as him and will have to lay down and cry for the rest of your life, right? You would also have to give up your place in that really expensive penthouse where you're able to look down on everyone like ants and call them all trash. That's why you keep holding out on this divorce, right? But you're going to have to leave him. So you'd better make it now rather than later, all right? Please and thank you. Jeez, oh please. I understand that getting this divorce is going to be very difficult for you. But the longer you wait to do it, the worse the pain will feel, right? Also, the longer you make this take, the more and more money I'm going to be asking from you in the settlement, all right? Well, I guess if you really want to be paying more, then be my guest. How about this? How about I choose the day you have to be divorced from your husband by? By the end of this month. In other words, in another 10 days. That happens to be the day that I need to get out of the apartment I'm currently living in and want to move into that penthouse with your man. I'll be there in the morning of that day, and that will begin the life of me living with Jacob. So hurry this up. Divorce Jacob and get out of there. Hey, Fern. Jacob is telling me that you're the one whose name is on that penthouse. There is no way something like that is normal, right? I cannot believe what I'm hearing from him. I have no reason to. There's no way a housewife like you could have the money to pay for the monthly rent on a place as luxurious as that. Are you not embarrassed by making your husband lie about something like that? I'm sure some people think that they will get the place once the divorce happens as a part of the couple's properties being split, but that hasn't happened yet. And also, I want to live in that penthouse. I am not going to let you have the place, no way. You hurry up and leave, Jacob, and then get the heck out of there. Jacob just sent me a text letting me know something amazing. He said that this afternoon he's going to be bringing your guys' divorce papers to the courthouse and will be getting that divorce. You really have been a thorn in my side this whole time. But looky here. I get to leave my apartment today and move into that penthouse with him. So I need to get to work myself preparing all my things for the big move, so see you never. Huh? Why the hell did you just kick Jacob out of that penthouse? I just got here from my old apartment with all my things ready to move into that place, and now I'm stuck out here? My, oh my. You're finally responding to me again, huh? The other day, you and Jacob had a little chat, right? The penthouse that he and I had been living in for a while now is under my name. And I told you I know that that's a lie, so I have no reason to believe you. How the hell could a housewife like you ever be able to afford a place like that in this part of town? But here's the thing. I'm not a housewife at all. What? I'm not going to go into much detail, but when my father gave me his company, that allowed me to start working from my home. Also, this penthouse was given to me after my father had passed away, as it used to be his. So I have every right to the place and will not be losing it in the divorce. Huh? So in other words, even if you think I couldn't afford this place, it wouldn't matter, as this place was given to me by my late father. Well, I'll have you give that place to me one way or another. There has to be a way to get it from you in the divorce. I already told you that this was the last day of my lease on the old apartment, right? So I am not letting you steal our home from us. Well, listen, Jewel. What did I just say to you? Huh? I said that I received this penthouse from my father when he passed away. And that was before I married Jacob even, so there's no way you're going to be able to get it from me in the divorce. So that means once this divorce is done with, my name will still be on the place. Are you kidding me? Nope. And that's why I've kicked Jacob out of here. No way. Also, the fact that the last day of your lease on that apartment has nothing to do with me. It's not my fault that you made the mistake of thinking this place was Jacob's and went ahead and ended your lease on that place. That's right! Hey, what about the settlement? What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You and Jacob got a divorce, so you pay me that settlement. Are you okay? I just said, when you get a divorce, you have to pay Jacob and I a settlement. I've heard that it's normal for someone like you to have to pay us $30,000, so that's what I'd like from you right now. And when it comes to the properties being split in this divorce, I'd like you to give us $500,000. Now hurry it up. I'm sorry, but huh? If you are able to give me all that right now, then we don't need a stupid penthouse. We can get ourselves a lovely home to start our new life together in. So hurry it up and give me that money so that I can buy a place for us. I was planning on having my lawyer come and talk with you guys. Ah, is that right? Well then, I'll go and ask that lawyer to hand me the paperwork for the settlement and properties that you owe both of us. Or, better yet, you should get those from him. I think you are totally confused. The ones that are going to have to pay off a settlement will be both you and Jacob. Huh? And when it comes to splitting our properties, that's not happening here. Huh? What do you mean by that? I'm the one that wants to ask you what you were going on about just then. How the hell did you think that you were going to get a settlement from me? How? It should always be the woman getting the settlement, right? Pfft. That's why I'm saying I have the right to some money from you in the form of a settlement. You didn't even know about that? Well, if that's what you're going to base your claim off of, I also happen to be a woman, so where's my settlement from you at? What? Let me explain what's happening this time. I am going to be getting a settlement from the two offenders that had an affair. One settlement will be from my husband who cheated on me, and the other settlement will be from his girlfriend, you. And the person's sex has no connection to any of this. Are you serious? Then at least hand me that $500,000 that you're supposed to be giving us. Hurry up, please. Are you perhaps talking about the amount of money I received from my father in his will after he had passed away? I am. I heard all about that money from Jacob. So you're not going to get away with lying to me about how you don't have that kind of money or anything. Well, Jewel, when it comes to anything that was given to me in my father's will, it will not become a part of any property splitting after a divorce. It's the same deal as my penthouse. I got it before I even started dating Jacob, so it's none of his to have. What? I'm sure that to the average person, or someone who just has never experienced a divorce before, some of this stuff would be hard to understand. But in your case, well, you're just a complete idiot about all of this. You happen to be the same age as me, but it's like I'm talking with a first grader or something here. How have you been able to live on your own for this long? Normally, I would just give up and block you over something like this, but you've shown to me that there really might be something medically wrong with you. I'm a little worried about what's happened to your head. Huh? Wait a second! So, all of that means I'm not going to be getting a settlement or $500,000 from you? And instead, I'm going to have to pay you a settlement? That's what I've been saying here. No freaking way! Also, there is one other thing to add. I know that right now you're in shock after learning some of the most basic stuff, but I'd like you to prepare yourself. For what? That company that Jacob was the CEO of, it went bankrupt. Bankrupt? Well, his company was never that big and only had about 5 people working there. And after a few years, it was always underperforming in terms of profit. Recently, however, I think he started to date you and everything, and that led to him never going into work to try and help the company recover any. Instead, he just left his employees to try and figure things out while he was out with you somewhere. And, well, soon after that, the others started to get fed up with him not caring anymore, and all of them quit at the exact same time. Apparently, they all went and started their own company and took all the customers that Jacob had with them. And because of all that, Jacob's company went under for good. What? Lies! Jewel, you still happen to be working, right? When it comes to Jacob, he's going to have to pay me the settlement in one lump payment, and that will probably clear out all his savings. Then there's also the cost of his company going bankrupt, which has put him into loads of debt. So I'm thinking that for a little while, the two of you are going to have to rely on your income to live. What the heck are you talking about? I never heard about any of this from him. But you both happen to love one another very much, right? So even without any money, you both will be all right. Wait. I already left the job I had, though. Oh? I thought that I'd be going to live in that penthouse with a CEO and would never have to work in my life again. I see. And, well, now you're asking me to pay you a settlement as well. How? How am I going to be able to live when things like this are happening to me? Well, why not start by looking for a new job and making an income again? What? That's about all I have left to say to you, Jewel. In a little bit here, I believe a lawyer will be arriving to talk with you, so I'll let them take it from here. Goodbye now. No way! Wait, Fern! No. What is going on here? Right after that, my lawyer had arrived to talk with both of those delinquents. Jewel began to freak out about the fact that she had ended the lease on her old apartment that day and would have nowhere to go. But the lawyer was able to see that after she had left her previous job, she had quite a bit of money in her accounts. And it was just enough to pay me the settlement I'd ask her for. And so I was able to get all that money in one large payment. In Jacob's case, he was able to pay me in one lump sum as well, using all the savings he had. But this would come at a major cost to him, as he was planning to use that money to pay for his failed business. I guess now he'll really be stuck having to take out even more loans in order to pay the other banks. And this might become one huge cycle of him getting a loan after loan to pay off other loans, unless he gets himself a real job again and brings in something. After that had all been taken care of and my lawyer was walking away from those two, they said that Jewel and Jacob started talking about splitting. They eventually did break up and are both back living with their parents right now. And while staying at their parents' houses, they both have been put to work making back all the money they will need to pay off debts and get out of the house. Just the other day, I had crossed paths with Jewel out on the town, and compared to the last time I saw her, she no longer looked like she was the same age as me. I'm thinking that the stress of all this has really gotten to her, and that she started to age at 3 times the rate I am. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Hey Mary, I just wanted to let you know that I'm about to go home, but I was going to bring a couple of coworkers home with me today.
Oh, I see. Were you all planning on drinking at house tonight then?
That was the plan, yes. Why do you ask? Is something the matter with that?
Well, it's just that we talked about this earlier, but moving around for me right now is really, really difficult. And it's already plenty hard just keeping up with all of the housework by myself as things are. So I don't mind if you bring your friends over to our place, just please don't ask me to do any hosting for them.
Oh, come on. Surely you can at least throw together some dishes for us to share while they are over here, right? I mean, they are coming over as guests after all. The least we should do is try and be good hosts to them, don't you think?
This is how it starts, but I know that once we run out of food, you're going to ask me to go out and get you all more. Either that or send me back to the kitchen to something else for you all.
And is that really so bad? It's only going to be little things. It's not really that big of a deal, you know?
You do know that I'm about to have a baby any week now, right? I mean, we really are in the final countdown. It's really uncomfortable and even painful to be standing up all day. It really puts a strain on my lower back, and I just can't handle it anymore.
Okay, Mary. I think you're starting to make this whole pregnancy excuse way too far. I mean, you're carrying a baby. It isn't like you're sick or something like that. My office also lets women take off work as they get further on into their pregnancy, but I've seen plenty of women continue working in spite of that.
Well, I just hope that they had the freedom to choose whether or not they were going to continue to work. But anyways, I would appreciate if you didn't compare me to other people. I'm just telling you how I feel.
Well, I think that you're starting to use this as a crutch to get out of doing things that you just don't want to do. I mean, did you not think this would happen? Did you think that you would be totally comfortable all throughout your pregnancy? Or did you just think that the whole world would stop for you and hold your hand through this?
Of course I didn't think everyone was going to let me do whatever I wanted just because I'm pregnant.
Well, it sure seems that way. It feels like you're expecting everyone else to put their lives on pause until you have this kid. You're not going into the office to work anymore. And at home, all you do is complain about how you're too uncomfortable to do housework.
I really don't think that you're being fair to me, Joe. I mean, am I not cooking all the meals at home every day? I also have to go to the store to buy everything that we eat. I feel like I've run a marathon by the time I get home.
Hey, if all I had to do was a little shopping and some cooking, you have no idea how lucky I would feel. Do you think women back in the day complained as much as women in our generation? No. They had plenty of kids and turned out just fine. My mom told me all about how she tried to continue keeping up with the housework even while she was pregnant with me. She told me that if she didn't take care of things around the house that my dad certainly wasn't going to be. So I think when you compare that to today, when we have so many appliances and tools to make our life easier, you really don't have any room to complain.
So you really think that everything in your parents' days was perfect and that women didn't have any of the issues they have today?
There you go, trying to twist my words around. What I'm saying is that for thousands of years, women have had kids without having to complain about it. I think you're just being a bit selfish the way that you're acting right now. So you're going to quit your whining, make something for me and my friends, and then I want you to go out and buy us some booze, okay?
Joe, please, I just told you that it's really uncomfortable to have to move and especially leave the house.
Oh my gosh, it really isn't that complicated at all. Just bring one of those baskets on wheels that we bought for you earlier. That should solve all your problems.
Right. I guess there's really just no point in trying to convince you, is there?
You know, I'm really getting sick of your attitude. I mean, you do know that I'm telling you to do all this for your own sake, don't you?
In what ways is any of this being done for my sake? You can't really mean that, right?
I mean that while you're pregnant, you've really been packing on the pounds. And I know that you like blaming everything on the baby, but it's not going to work this time.
I agree that I probably have put on a few pounds since getting pregnant, but I think that you're over-exaggerating just a bit.
Yeah, I thought you would say something like that. All I'm saying is there are plenty of doctors and magazines out there that all agree it's good for pregnant women to get some exercise now and then. So why don't you take their medical advice and move your body some, huh? Because otherwise, you're never going to lose that baby weight.
Okay, fine. I'll go out and buy some food and drinks for you and your friends. But I don't have to go out again to buy even more later. Do you understand me? I am going to go to bed early tonight, and I do not want to be disturbed.
So that's the impression that you want to give my workers of how we live at home? That you go to bed early and leave me to my own devices all the time?
I really don't think that most husbands would be asking so much of their pregnant wives to begin with.
There we go. Anytime I make a good case against your attitude, you always just have to pull the pregnancy card on me, don't you?
Joe, I'm getting ready to leave the house and go shopping right now.
That's right. You better go and do that before I get even more upset with you. And don't forget about something for us all to eat when you get back home, too. I know I said something small would work, but you're still cooking for 3 grown men.
Joe, can you please just let me in the house already? This is ridiculous.
No. This is your fault, and I won't let you back in until I think you've learned your lesson.
In what way is any of this my fault? You're the one who showed up with a bunch of friends from work all of a sudden. I told you all day yesterday about how horrible I was feeling, and then you go and do this to me?
Well, it's your fault that everyone went home early. I told you I wanted the house clean and dinner ready before I got back from work. But you couldn't even do that for me, could you?
That's because I told you that I was feeling awful. I could hardly even move. Besides, I told you that I was going to be resting in bed all day before you started to boss me around.
Here we go again with the pregnancy excuse. I know that all you do at home is just roll around doing nothing. The least you could do is try and keep the house clean while you're there, you know? But it's your fault that everyone went home. You totally ruined the mood.
Look, Joe, I told you that if you bring your friends over to drink, that I don't mind them staying here late into the night. I mean, you do realize that I'm supposed to be having this baby in just a couple of weeks, don't you?
And just what does that have to do with me, huh?
Did you really just ask that? Do you really think this baby has nothing to do with you?
I just mean that you're always complaining about being too tired, but you always seem to have the energy to argue with me. It sounds to me like you're nothing but a faker. I bet you feel fine and you're just upset that you won't be able to milk this in a couple of weeks.
I really don't even know what to say to that. I just really hope that you don't actually think that's what's happening. You know, I never took you for the kind of person to act this way before I got pregnant. You realize that we made the baby I'm carrying, right? I had hoped that you would have wanted more to do with the pregnancy, but all you've done is boss me around and make me feel like a burden for carrying our child. I know that you probably can't ever imagine what I'm going through, but there are some nights I'm too uncomfortable to even sleep.
So that's your problem? You can't get enough sleep? So what? I'm sure that you nap plenty throughout the day.
Of course that's not it. I am in so much pain and discomfort in my feet, my back, my stomach, all of it.
You really think that gives you an excuse to be as lazy as you are? You know what I do after a night of hard drinking? I show up to work the next day hungover and tired, but I still do my job.
Those two things are completely different, and you know it.
I know that now. You're just mad because I made another good point. Now you can't use your pregnancy to get out of it. Maybe you should go spend a night on the street just so you can realize how nice you actually have it.
Do you have any idea what month it is, Joe? If I have to sleep out here, I am going to freeze.
Oh, please. You're so fat that I doubt you can even feel how cold it is out there tonight. But if you do get a little chilly, go on a run. The exercise will do you good. But don't think for a second about calling anyone for help and telling them about this. If you do, then I'm going to ask for a divorce right then and there.
But I don't even have my wallet, and I'm not even wearing a jacket right now.
You think I don't know what you're trying to pull here? We both know that you have credit cards saved on that phone. Well, I'm telling you now that you aren't allowed to use any of it. Put your phone in the mailbox. I'll collect it later.
You can't be serious, right? You really don't care at all that you're about to make your pregnant wife sleep on the cold streets tonight?
You really think that anybody's going to do anything to a gross fatty like you? Why don't you just hang out around the park near our house? I'll go and pick you up tomorrow. But if you're not there, then we're going to be getting a divorce. I really mean this. I'm not afraid to make you raise that child all by yourself.
Hey, pick up the phone right now, you creep. I mean it.
I don't wanna. You can't make me take your call.
This is no time for you to be acting this way, Joe.
But you've been messaging me all day. I don't want to talk to you if you're just gonna yell at me.
Just answer the phone right now. I am serious. You're an adult, Joe. Stop acting like this.
You think I want to hear your terrible voice the first thing in the morning? Do you have any idea just how hungover I am?
You're hungover? Well, that just makes all of this that much worse. Do you know that?
How dare you talk to your older brother like this, Maggie? You need to show me some respect.
Maybe I will when you earn it. The only thing I really wanted to tell you was to come to our parents' place right away.
And just why would I want to drive all the way over there, huh? Are Mom and Dad dying? Did someone have a heart attack or something?
What happened is that you kicked your pregnant wife out on the cold streets, and now we're all here apologizing to her.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Mary is there with you all?
I mean, I still can't believe that you would really do something like this. Don't you know that Mary is already 9 months pregnant? You're just awful, Joe.
Oh, please. I'm not the bad guy in this at all. You can't let Mary fool you with her crocodile tears. Mary is always using being pregnant as an excuse to do whatever she wants. I was just teaching her a lesson that it wasn't going to work forever.
Mary told me that you were complaining to her because you didn't think she was cleaning the house well enough. Not only that, she told me that you kept bringing over colleagues to have parties at home with.
Wait a second. How did you even find out that I kicked Mary out? I mean, I took her phone and wallet and everything. Don't tell me that she walked all the way to Mom and Dad's or something. That would be impossible. Although if she did, it would only prove that she was lying about how discomfortable she was.
You really are an idiot. Do you know that? Do you really think that someone in Mary's condition would make it all the way here by herself? Actually, a police officer saw Mary sitting all alone in the park shivering.
Wait, you mean the cops brought her to you?
Well, they were wondering what a pregnant woman was doing in a place like that so late at night. At first, they offered to take her back to your house, but Mary insisted that she couldn't go back, so she asked him to take her here instead.
And so that's how she got all the way to Mom and Dad's house?
That's right. And that's why I've been trying to get a hold of you since this morning.
Oh, shoot. Then did Mary's parents know about this too? I bet they're really pissed. Has anything else happened?
You really are the worst. Do you know that? You're only concerned about how any of this affects you, aren't you?
Well, duh. Have you met Mary's parents? They're really, really scary. You'd think they'd be nice to me for taking care of their cow of a daughter, though.
Joe, do you really not know where Mary's dad works?
He's just some old fool who works in a factory or something like that, right? I remember one time we went over to their house and he said something like that.
Joe, Mary's dad is one of the senior managers of his company. He only goes to factories to supervise them and make sure company policies are being implemented.
Wait. That can't be right. He's just some grunt on the assembly line, isn't he? There's no way that old fool's anyone important anywhere for anything.
Then I guess you also didn't know that he's the company representative in charge of making deals with your company.
You mean that my company is nice enough to give his company contracts for work?
You have it backwards, Joe. His company is much larger and only deals with your company because of shared history with the past company presidents.
Wait, you mean his company is the bigger one?
That's right. I think you screwed this up big time, Joe. And you are going to have to pay the price this time. It wasn't long after that when Mary's lawyers reached out to Joe to tell him that she wanted a divorce. He tried to beg her to stop and explain that this was all a big accident, but Mary knew that he was only saying that because he realized who her father was. Mary's father had a very long talk with some of the higher-ups on Joe's office, who, in turn, talked to him about the consequences of his actions. The results were a very smooth divorce process for Mary and Joe. It turns out that Joe's attitude at work wasn't much better than his attitude at home. He was always showing up to work hungover, even still slightly drunk sometimes. Some employees even stepped forward and said that Joe had harassed them into going into his house to drink. They felt like they couldn't say no without pissing off someone who was their superior. That being said, they also reported on how they say Joe treated Mary at home. The results were a heavy demotion and pay cut for Joe. Honestly, there was very little difference between what they did and firing him. Now Joe works in the boiler room, which holds the company archives. He spends all day filing and organizing documents that haven't seen the light of day in decades. The only reason his bosses chose not to fire him, it turns out, was so that Joe would have the means to keep up with his child support payments for the next 18 years. Whether or not Joe has figured out that that's why he was kept on remains to be seen. In the light of the pay cut, Joe tried turning to his family for support, but they all knew what he had done to Mary, and no one was interested in lending a hand. It sounds like Joe is going to be trapped in a dead-end job all alone for a long, long time. As for Mary, she was able to safely give birth a couple of weeks later. She moved back in with her parents, who have been helping her raise the baby while she adjusts to the single life. Even though she wants nothing to do with Joe ever again, she still keeps in contact with his parents and sister, who do all they can to support Mary. Now, months later, Mary was able to return to her company, the same one that her father works for, and is easing herself back into a working schedule. Thankfully, her company has an in-house daycare for employees who are also parents, and that has made the whole process much, much smoother for Mary. She may have been nervous to resume her life after all that she had gone through, but cutting Joe out of her life only made her stronger. Mary realized just how much her low opinion of herself came from Joe's abuse, and she realized that she is much, much stronger and better off without him in her life, or her child's life, anymore. And it seems that many of Joe's relatives have also caught on to a similar idea.